Raise your hand if you've ever ignored pain, stress, or exhaustion and told yourself, "I'll deal with it later." What if I told you your body keeps the score, and today I will teach you how to feel it before it breaks you? Have you ever felt a tightness in your chest before something went wrong, or a sudden wave of exhaustion even though you slept all night? What if I told you those moments weren't random? What if your body was trying to warn you long before words ever could? Most of us were taught to ignore our bodies. We're told to push through pain, to stay strong, to keep going no matter what. A headache becomes something to silence with medication. Stress becomes something we normalize. Fatigue becomes a badge of honor. But the truth is, your body is constantly speaking to you, and it speaks through sensation. Every ache, every tension, every flutter of anxiety is a message. Your body doesn't use language the way your mind does. It uses feelings. Tight shoulders may be telling you that you're carrying too much stress. A racing heart may be signaling fear or overload. Constant exhaustion may be your body begging for rest, not more effort. These sensations are not inconveniences. They are communication. The problem is not that our bodies don't speak. The problem is that we don't listen. Think about how often you ignore discomfort because you're too busy. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later, but later turns into weeks, months, even years, and the body keeps track. What starts as a whisper becomes a shout. What starts as tension becomes chronic pain. What starts as stress becomes illness. Your body never stops sending signals. It only increases the volume when it feels unheard. Sensation is the body's early warning system. It's how your body protects you. When you feel hunger, it's not weakness, it's survival. When you feel pain, it's not failure, it's information. When you feel emotional discomfort, it's not something to be ashamed of, it's guidance. Ignoring these sensations doesn't make them disappear. It only disconnects you from yourself. Many people believe that listening to their body means slowing down, losing control, or becoming less productive. In reality, it's the opposite. When you understand your body's signals, you gain control. You learn when to rest before burnout happens. You learn when to set boundaries before stress damages your health. You learn when something is wrong before it becomes serious. Your body is always working for you, not against you. The challenge is learning how to feel without fear. Feeling doesn't mean overreacting. It means paying attention. It means noticing how your breath changes when you're anxious. It means recognizing tension before it turns into pain. It means acknowledging emotions instead of suppressing them. This awareness creates balance between the mind and the body. In today's world, we are overstimulated but disconnected. We scroll, we rush, we multitask, but we rarely pause long enough to ask ourselves, what am I feeling right now? That simple question can be life-changing, because when you stop and feel, you reconnect. And when you reconnect, healing becomes possible. Your body communicates through sensation because sensation is honest. It doesn't lie, it doesn't pretend, it doesn't sugarcoat. It tells the truth about what you need: rest, movement, care, support, change. The more you ignore it, the harder it has to work to get your attention. So I challenge you today. Stop silencing your body. Stop treating discomfort as the enemy. Instead, treat it as a message. Learn its language. Respect its signals. Trust that your body knows what it's doing. Because the moment you learn to feel what your body is telling you, you don't just improve your health, you reclaim your power. How many times have you told yourself, "I'm fine," when deep down you weren't? How many times have you swallowed your emotions, pushed through stress, or ignored pain because stopping felt impossible? We live in a world that teaches us to move on, toughen up, and stay silent. But what no one tells us is this: what you ignore doesn't disappear. It stays, and it settles into your body. Ignoring your feelings is not strength. It is a slow form of damage. Every emotion you feel has a purpose. Fear is meant to protect you. Sadness signals loss or exhaustion. Anger shows that a boundary has been crossed. Stress warns you that something is out of balance. When these emotions are acknowledged, they pass. But when they are ignored, they don't fade away. They stay stored in the body, quietly affecting your health over time. Your body remembers everything your mind tries to forget. When emotional stress is pushed aside day after day, the body goes into survival mode. Your muscles stay tense, your heart works harder, your immune system weakens. Sleep becomes shallow, digestion is disrupted. Over time, this constant internal pressure can lead to headaches, high blood pressure, anxiety disorders, depression, chronic pain, and even serious illnesses. These are not random conditions. They are often the physical results of emotional neglect. Many people wait until their body breaks down before they pay attention. They ignore exhaustion until burnout hits. They dismiss anxiety until panic attacks appear. They overlook sadness until depression takes hold. The body always gives warning signs, but when those signs are ignored, the consequences become louder and more painful. We often believe that emotions are all in the head, but emotions live in the body. Stress tightens the chest, fear shortens the breath, grief weighs heavy on the heart. When these sensations are denied, they don't vanish. They transform into physical symptoms. The body becomes the voice for the feelings you refuse to hear. Ignoring feelings also affects how we live our daily lives. It impacts our focus, our relationships, and our ability to enjoy simple moments. When emotions are suppressed, we become disconnected, not only from ourselves but from others. We react instead of respond. We feel numb instead of present. Over time, this emotional disconnection creates loneliness, even when we are surrounded by people. The truth is, your body is not failing you when it reacts to ignored emotions. It is protecting you. Symptoms are not punishments, they are signals. They are the body's way of saying, something needs attention. Pain, anxiety, fatigue, and illness are often the final messages after years of being unheard. Listening to your feelings doesn't mean letting them control you. It means respecting them. It means allowing yourself to feel stress without shame. It means admitting when you are overwhelmed instead of pretending you're okay. It means understanding that emotional care is not optional, it is essential to health. When you begin to acknowledge your feelings, your body can finally relax. Stress levels decrease. Sleep improves. Energy returns. Healing begins. The body thrives when it feels safe, and safety starts with being heard. So many people spend years treating symptoms without addressing the root cause. They treat the headache but ignore the stress. They treat the fatigue but ignore the burnout. They treat the pain but ignore the emotional weight they've been carrying. True health is not just physical, it is emotional awareness in action. You were never meant to carry everything alone or in silence. Your feelings are not a burden, they are guidance. They are signals leading you toward balance, rest, and care. Ignoring feelings may seem easier in the moment, but the long-term cost is too high. Your body will eventually demand what your mind refused to give. So today, choose to listen, choose to feel, choose to care for your emotional health as seriously as your physical health. Many people believe that feeling deeply is something you're either born with or you're not. They say things like, I'm just not emotional, or that's not my personality. But what if that belief is wrong? What if feeling isn't a trait you're given at birth, but a skill you can learn, practice, and strengthen over time? From a young age, many of us are taught to disconnect from our feelings. We're told not to cry, not to complain, not to be sensitive. We're praised for staying strong and quiet, even when something hurts. Over time, this training teaches us to shut down our emotional awareness. Not because we lack feelings, but because we were never taught how to handle them. Feeling is not about being dramatic or overwhelmed. Feeling is awareness. It is the ability to notice what is happening inside your body and mind without running from it. Just like learning to read, speak, or ride a bike, emotional awareness requires practice. The more you avoid it, the harder it becomes. The more you practice it, the more natural it feels. Some people appear emotionally open, not because they are special, but because they have learned how to sit with discomfort. They have learned how to name what they feel. They have learned how to breathe through stress instead of suppressing it. These are learned skills, not personality gifts. The truth is, everyone feels, even those who claim they don't. Numbness is not the absence of emotion. It is a protective response. It's what happens when the body decides it's safer not to feel than to feel too much. But numbness also blocks joy, connection, and healing. Learning to feel helps reverse that shutdown. Developing this skill starts with small moments of attention. It begins by noticing your breath when you're stressed, by recognizing tension in your body instead of ignoring it, by asking yourself, "What am I feeling right now?" without judgment. These moments may feel uncomfortable at first because feeling requires presence. But discomfort is not danger, it is growth. Many people fear that if they allow themselves to feel, they will lose control. In reality, the opposite is true. When emotions are acknowledged, they move through the body. When they are ignored, they build pressure. Learning to feel gives you more control, not less. It allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This skill also strengthens mental and physical health. Emotional awareness lowers stress, improves sleep, and reduces anxiety. It helps the nervous system return to balance. When you learn to feel, your body no longer has to scream through pain or illness to get your attention. You begin to listen at a lower volume. Learning to feel also improves relationships. When you understand your own emotions, you communicate more clearly. You set healthier boundaries. You become more empathetic. You stop expecting others to read your mind because you can name what you feel yourself. This creates deeper, more honest connections. The idea that feeling is a weakness has caused generations to suffer in silence. But awareness is not weakness, it is intelligence. It takes courage to slow down and face what's inside. It takes strength to stay present instead of escaping through distractions. Emotional skill is not about being soft, it's about being real. No one is born knowing how to manage emotions. Just as muscles grow with training, emotional awareness grows with practice. And like any skill, it gets easier the more you use it. You don't need to change who you are. You need to learn how to tune in. So the next time you think, "That's just not who I am," remember this. Feeling is not about personality. It's about permission. Permission to pause. Permission to notice. Permission to care for yourself. Most people think control means ignoring pain, pushing through exhaustion, and silencing discomfort. We are taught that strength looks like endurance, like pretending nothing hurts. But what if real control comes from the opposite? What if the greatest power you can have over your health begins the moment you start feeling your body instead of fighting it? Your body is not your enemy. It is your partner in survival. Every sensation you experience exists for a reason. Pain, tension, fatigue, and emotion are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are signs that something needs your attention. When you learn to feel what your body is telling you, you gain the ability to respond before damage is done. Healing begins with awareness. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. When you ignore signals, your body has no choice but to increase them. A small ache becomes chronic pain. Stress becomes anxiety. Exhaustion becomes burnout. But when you pause and listen early, you give your body permission to recover. Feeling is the doorway to healing. Many people fear feeling because they believe it will overwhelm them. They think that acknowledging pain will make it worse. In reality, awareness reduces suffering. When you notice tension and release it, your muscles relax. When you recognize stress and slow your breathing, your nervous system calms. When you allow emotions to move through you, they lose their grip. Feeling brings regulation, not chaos. Control does not come from forcing the body into submission. It comes from understanding its patterns. When you learn how your body reacts to stress, lack of sleep, emotional pressure, or overwork, you gain the power to adjust your choices. You know when to rest. You know when to speak up. You know when to slow down. This is real control, the kind that protects your health instead of sacrificing it. Your body is constantly trying to heal itself. It repairs cells, balances hormones, and restores energy every day. But healing requires safety. When the body is ignored, rushed, or pushed beyond its limits, it stays in survival mode. Feeling your body creates safety. It tells your nervous system that you are paying attention, and when the body feels heard, it can finally relax and repair. Feeling also reconnects you to yourself. Many people feel disconnected, numb, or lost, not because they are broken, but because they have learned to live from the neck up. They think through life but never feel through it. Reconnecting with bodily sensations brings you back into the present moment. It grounds you. It reminds you that you are alive, not just functioning. This awareness changes how you handle challenges. Instead of reacting automatically, you respond intentionally. You notice your heartbeat before anger takes over. You notice tightness before anxiety escalates. You notice fatigue before collapse. That pause between sensation and reaction is where control lives. Healing is not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about listening more. It's about trusting that your body knows what it needs. Rest instead of guilt. Movement instead of pressure. Expression instead of suppression. Feeling guides these choices. Over time, this practice builds resilience. You recover faster from stress. You become more adaptable. You stop living in constant survival mode. Your immune system strengthens, your sleep improves, and your energy stabilizes. Healing becomes a process you actively participate in, not something you wait for after damage occurs. Feeling your body is not a one-time decision. It's a daily relationship, a check-in, a conversation. And like any relationship, the more attention you give it, the stronger it becomes. So instead of asking how much more you can push, ask what your body is asking for. Instead of silencing discomfort, get curious about it. Instead of fearing sensation, trust it. Because when you learn to feel your body, you don't lose control, you gain it. You don't become weaker, you become wiser. And healing stops being something you chase and becomes something you create.